They say love conquers all. But what happens when love is forbidden by the very blood that runs through your veins? When the drums of your ancestors beat against the rhythm of your heart? When choosing love means losing everything you have ever known? My name is Zuri. I am the daughter of Chief Adisa of the Yoruba people. And this is the story of how I loved a man I was never meant to touch, and how that love destroyed everything I knew, yet gave me everything I ever wanted. This is a story of passion, betrayal, sacrifice, and a choice that would change 2 villages forever. This is a story that will break your heart, just as it broke mine. But perhaps, in the breaking, we find what it truly means to be whole. Chapter 1. The Omen. I was born under the baobab tree, on the night when the moon turned red. The elders said it was an omen, a sign from the ancestors, that I would bring either great fortune or great ruin to our tribe. My mother told me that when I came into this world, the wind stopped. The entire savannah fell silent. Even the lions ceased their roaring. And then, as I took my first breath, the drums began to beat on their own, though no hand touched them. The elder shaman, Mama Kibibi, held me up to the red moon and declared that my destiny was written in blood and starlight, that I would face a choice no woman should ever have to make, a choice between duty and desire, between my people and my heart. My father, Chief Adisa, was a proud man, a strong man. He ruled our village with wisdom and strength. Our people, the Yoruba, were respected throughout the savannah. We were farmers, traders, warriors. We lived by the code of our ancestors, and that code was absolute. My father had 3 sons and 1 daughter. My brothers, Kwame, Babatunde, and little Chike, were being trained to become warriors and leaders. But I, as the only daughter, had a different destiny. I was to be married. My mother, Ife, raised me to be the perfect bride. She taught me how to cook, how to weave, how to carry water on my head without spilling a single drop. She taught me the songs of our people, the prayers to our ancestors, the rituals of womanhood. She also taught me to be silent, to be obedient, to never question the will of the elders or the decisions of men. I grew up knowing my destiny. On my 20th harvest moon, I would marry Tendaji, son of the wealthiest merchant in our region. It was arranged before I could even walk, sealed with the exchange of 30 cattle, gold, and precious cloth. My marriage would unite 2 powerful families. It would secure trade routes to the coast. It would bring prosperity to our village. I accepted this. What choice did I have? I was the chief's daughter. My life was not my own. It belonged to my people. I told myself I could be happy. Tendaji was not cruel, he was not ugly, he was simply nothing. When I looked at him, I felt nothing. No joy, no excitement, no flutter in my chest. But I told myself that love was not necessary, that duty was enough, that I could live a good life, bear strong children, and honor my family. I told myself these things every day until I met him. Chapter 2. The Meeting. His name was Dalma. I first saw him during the festival of the harvest, when neighboring villages came to trade their goods. Our village square was filled with color and sound, women selling spices and cloth, men bargaining over livestock, children running between the stalls, laughing and playing. I was walking through the marketplace with my mother and my younger brother Chike, carrying a basket of vegetables. I was expected to help with the preparations for the feast that night. And then I saw him. He stood at the edge of the marketplace, near the old acacia tree, tall, with skin like polished ebony and eyes that seemed to hold the entire sky. He wore the red cloth of the Samburu people, the beaded jewelry of a warrior. My breath caught in my throat. The Samburu, our enemies. Our tribes had been at war for 3 generations, ever since the Great Drought, when the Samburu crossed the sacred river and took our water sources. Blood had been spilled, lives had been lost. My grandfather's brother died in a raid. The hatred ran deep. What was a Samburu warrior doing at our festival? Who had allowed this? I should have looked away, I should have told my mother, I should have alerted the guards. But I couldn't move. Because at that exact moment, he turned his head and looked directly at me. Our eyes met across the crowded marketplace, and in that moment, everything else disappeared. The noise, the people, the world itself seemed to fade away. I don't know how long we stood there staring at each other. It could have been seconds, it could have been hours. All I know is that something shifted inside me, something I had never felt before, something dangerous. Zuri, my mother's voice snapped me back to reality. Come, we have work to do. I tore my eyes away from him and followed my mother, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst from my chest. Who was he? Why was he here? And why did I feel like I had just recognized someone I had known my entire life, even though I had never seen him before? That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay on my mat, staring at the ceiling of our hut, seeing his face in every shadow. I told myself it meant nothing, that it was just curiosity, that I would forget him by morning. But I didn't. Chapter 3. The Secret Meetings. 3 days later, I saw him again. I had gone to fetch water from the river, as I did every morning. The river was far from the village, beyond the fields, where the wild grass grew tall and the birds sang their morning songs. I was alone, enjoying the peace and quiet, when I heard a voice behind me. You are the chief's daughter. I spun around, my heart leaping into my throat. It was him, the Samburu warrior. He stood a few paces away, his hands raised to show he meant no harm. But his presence alone was harm. If anyone saw us, if anyone knew. What are you doing here? I demanded, trying to sound brave even though my hands were shaking. He smiled, a sad, knowing smile that made my chest ache. I know, he said quietly, just as you should not have been staring at me in the marketplace 3 days ago. My face burned with embarrassment and anger. I was not staring. You were, he said, stepping closer. My name is Dalma, and I have been looking for you. Why? I whispered. Because, he said, his eyes searching mine, from the moment I saw you, I could not stop thinking about you, and I had to know if you felt it too. I don't know what you're talking about, I lied. Yes, you do, he said softly. And he was right. I did. That was the first of many secret meetings. We began meeting at dawn, by the river, where no one else came. He would bring me wildflowers that grew on the Samburu side of the water. I would bring him bread and honey that I had made myself. We talked about everything. He told me about his life, his people, his dreams. He told me that he was tired of the hatred between our tribes, that he believed there had to be a better way. I told him things I had never told anyone. My fears, my doubts, my dreams of a life beyond duty and obligation. With him, I was not the chief's daughter. I was not Tendaji's future wife. I was not a symbol or a bargaining tool. I was just Zuri. And he was just Dalma. For the first time in my life, I felt truly seen, truly known. One morning, as the sun rose over the savannah, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, he took my hand. Zuri, his voice trembling, I know this is wrong. I know I should not feel this way, but I cannot help it. I love you. My heart shattered and soared at the same time. I love you too, I whispered. And when he kissed me, under the vast African sky, I knew there was no going back. I knew that this love would destroy me. But I didn't care. Chapter 4. The Curse. We became reckless. We met more often, stayed longer, took more risks. I lied to my mother about where I was going. I snuck out in the middle of the night. I lived in a constant state of fear and acceleration. Dalma spoke of running away together, of finding a place where no one knew our names, where we could be free. But I was torn. How could I abandon my family, my people? How could I betray everything I had been raised to honor? Yet how could I marry Tender G when my heart belonged to another? The elders had been right. I was cursed. The evening after another stolen hour with Dalma, I returned to the village just as the sun was setting. I thought I had been careful. I thought no one had noticed my absence. But as I approached our compound, my youngest brother, Chike,